Quarter scale grave, no, not this time. Now for something completely different. This is a mold that I made over 10 years ago with the idea of making a Hogan Monster Truck body. It's a Ford Bigfoot, Parma Bigfoot body, and it has the recessed bed, so I had to make that, cut that wooden piece there to fill it in, just to make it look more like the, a smooth back for a monster truck. And that hole there is where the screw goes through to mount custom carved arms. So underneath the body it's hollowed out so I can put a screw through the side of the body into the arm and hold it in place. And then when it comes time to demold it, I turn it upside down, take the screw out, take the main body out, and then put the screw back in to pry the arm out of the body. And you can see, you gotta be able to separate the arm from the main mold. Well, after 10 years of 10 plus years of making bodies, there was a guy in Hawaii that wanted 6 of them. And there's the badge on the front. And after that 6 mold, that 6 pull, the rear of the gate of the truck, it got all busted up. Okay, so I figured, oh, let's see if I can glue it back together. Went to turn it upside down to mount the arms, and the whole right side, it's hard to tell, but this whole section right here just fell off. Okay, so I glued that on, tried it anyway, made another pull, and it worked, but again it all got all busted off again. And I don't know if you can see in the reflection the scars the scars of battle. Okay, so I decided, hey, it's time to make a new mold. So I checked my RC body inventory, and what do you know? I found another Ford Parma Bigfoot mold, body. And this one is more accurate. The wheel wells are larger, like a monster truck body should be, where this one, you can see that outline. You've got to do a lot of cutting, and just this newer one will look better. Okay, so the next step is to turn it upside down, make a support for it, and fill it full of plaster of Paris. So let's see how that's done. So here I've got the Parma Bigfoot body ready to pour the plaster of Paris in, and I supported the roof down below so it doesn't sink into the support box I made here. This was from a previous project, and I had to cut out the back of it there to make room for the razor back for the Bigfoot body, but this of course is going to be for the Hulk Hogan body. So I've got my water bucket and 16 pounds of plaster of Paris, and you want to use plaster of Paris, not plaster patch. The plaster of Paris dries harder and much smoother. And then there's the mixer. Had that drill for probably 30 years, maybe 40. So I'll let you know what my mixture is after I after I mix it and pour it, to give you the ratio and the amount of water compared to how much plaster of Paris. So, hope it goes good. Well, I should have stuck to my original plan, starting off with 1.5 gallons of water in the bucket. And I used 16 pounds of the plaster of Paris, and I still added a little bit more from this one, and that was a mistake. I should have just stuck with the 16 pounds. A thin milkshake is what you want the consistency to be. And that, after I pour the darn stuff, I realize, oh, I forgot my insert to make a gap so I can bolt the arms onto the side. So I run upstairs and grab a coffee can, empty coffee can, fill it halfway with water and push it in there. And I wanted to use a square post that I had laying around here somewhere, but I couldn't find it in time. I figured I got to do this quick or it's going to be much more difficult to drill a hole through this side of the body to fasten the arms to. So hopefully that works out. And it started, I need a better mixer. That little thing just doesn't put out enough turbulence. There were all kinds of clumps and oh my gosh, pieces that weren't thoroughly mixed, so I hope that's not going to make it look ugly when it finally comes out. So now it's got to sit for at least a week, probably 2 weeks, for it to get good and hard before I try to take the body off. To be continued. Right now. So it's been about a week since I poured the plaster of Paris. And now I want to see if I can take the body off successfully. So I like to use the compressed air. I don't know if you can tell, but I can see where there's moisture right here, where it's dark in color, and a little bit back here, but I'm hoping the compressed air is going to release it. Okay. How about a little more pressure? 2.5 gallons of plaster of Paris is heavy. Okay. Man, either it's not dry enough or it's just being ornery. So, either to be continued or I'll be back. Okay, so it's I'll be back. Well, with a little patience and tugging, pulling up on the sides, like pushing on the hood, pushing on the back side, and with the air compressor, came out pretty clean. You know, this area here and the taillights, that's not too bad. The main thing, of course, is going to be when the arms get on there and make it look like a Hogan body. So, obviously I've got to trim off the rear of it and then sand it and make it fit on this platform. This raises the mold up, so if any webbing happens, it'll be hopefully below the trim line of the truck. So, whew. So now it's to be continued.